guys, it's Emma. Today I have a book review and a book discussion on Night Film by Marisha Pessl. First I'm going to do a non-spoiler quick book review, and then I'm going to go into a discussion part where I will go into more detail and there will be spoilers because I had a lot of problems with this book, so I feel like I need to go into detail about them. Before I get started though, this book is about a guy named Scott McGrath. He's an investigative journalist, and there's a film director named Stanislav Cordova. He makes horror films, and they're really disturbing, really violent, really just horrible films about just basically the darker side of human nature, and they're so dark and creepy and disturbing that they're actually banned from like playing them in movie theaters and such. So, and he has a big following of like all these crazy fans who admire his work. And his daughter actually commits suicide. She dies. Her name is Ashley, and she commits suicide. So Scott McGrath wants to investigate why she committed suicide, if she did. And then he starts to get into Cordova's family and what's going on there with him. And Cordova's been missing. Well, he's been out of the public eye since 1977. So he wants to also find Cordova himself. And these two younger people tag along with him. They knew Ashley, and so they decided to just tag along with him and start investigating with him as well. So my impression of what I thought this book was going to be about was that I thought it was going to focus more on Cordova's films and like why they were so creepy and disturbing and the whole horror cinema thing. I thought it was going to be mostly about that, or I thought I would get to that quicker, but it didn't at all. And I thought it was going to be a really creepy, disturbing, suspenseful, thriller kind of book, but it really wasn't. It was about essentially it's a detective novel where this guy, Scott, is going through with these two younger people, Hopper and Nora, who knew Ashley and they decided to just randomly tag along with him. They're going along, they go from one person to the next and question them, and then like find clues and then go to another place, and it was a super repetitive, linear, boring process. And they started uncovering stuff about Ashley in her last days of her life before she killed herself. And, you know, stuff going back to her childhood with her father and just what's going on with the family. So that was kind of interesting, I guess, to see that unfold, or to see that stuff come up, but it went on just way too long. Like, this is a 600-page book. It was a long story, and the entire thing up until like the last little section is pretty much them going through, interviewing people and just going from one person to the next, one place to the next, gathering all these clues and stuff. But it just got really boring really fast, and I kept waiting for like one of the creepy parts to come up, one of the, I don't know, suspenseful parts to come up, but there's like nothing. And the parts that I felt that were supposed to be creepy, clearly they just weren't. And I found it really unrealistic how every person they interviewed was super willing and opened up to them right away and willing to talk about just whatever they wanted to talk about, even though it seemed like they really shouldn't have. How convenient that everybody just opens up to you. It seemed like it promised to deliver something really, like a really epic, cool ending, a really big reveal, but it didn't. I thought the concept was really cool, like following this weird filmmaker's videos and like cool horror stuff and disturbing stuff that they would find and mystery. I thought the whole concept was cool, and the whole idea of it, but just the way it was executed was super flat. It didn't meet my expectations at all. So yeah, just the story itself was super underwhelming, just a really big letdown. And another thing that really bothered me was the amount of italics that are in this book. Holy crap. It was, for the first like 100 pages or so when I first started reading, like, okay, there's a lot of italics in this, I guess this will just wear off, this will pass. Nope, 100 pages later, 200 pages later, there's still several italics on like every single page, and I was like, what the hell is this? So I quickly skimmed through to see if this ended at some point, and nope, every single page there was several italics on it, and I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? It's pretty much a given that when you read something that's in italics, the word is emphasized or accented, so your brain kind of registers that as soon as you see italics. At least for me it does, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of other people it does too. So every time I came across an italics, it would interrupt my reading because I'd have to slow down and emphasize that word. And I'd be like, what the hell am I doing? This word doesn't need to be emphasized. Why can't I just read this normally? And it was so annoying. It seemed like the author had like a really particular way that she wanted you to interpret and read the book, which just got old really fast because yeah, I wanted to like throw this book across the room because the amount of italics in it, it was ridiculous. At the end of this book, I felt really cheated and just let down by the ending, and just unsatisfied, underwhelmed, disappointed. I don't even know what the story was supposed to be about really after all of that. And with the ending, I don't know I don't know what the author was trying to tell me or trying to communicate. I don't know what it was all leading up to, because it didn't amount to anything. All of the searching and investigative stuff, it just didn't go anywhere. Like, I thought it would. I kept waiting for the end. I'm like, okay, well, at the end, surely this is all leading up to something really cool. And it wasn't. It just didn't at all. So that's my non-spoiler quick review on it. Now I'm going to go into the discussion section, and if you haven't read the book, you probably want to stop here because I'm going to be giving away some spoilers. And you don't have to, it's up to you, but I'm just warning you. So yeah, if you're done watching, then thanks for watching, and if not, then let's continue. Okay, so if you've read this book, you may know what I mean when I say that ending was just, what the hell? Was anybody else really disappointed with how that ended? Like, we find out she just had cancer, and she was just sick the whole time, and her dad was like really paranoid and with the whole, I don't even know. I really don't even know what the ending was supposed to be. And then after all of this huge chunk of a book, after all of that, he finally finds him, and then it ends. So we don't even get to meet him. We don't even get to hear what he has to say or anything. Like, that just really annoyed me, because all of this build up to this guy, the mysterious, elusive Cordova guy, and he finally finds him, and then nope, that's it, we're done. Last page, we're done. And the part where he's at the mansion, at the estate, where they sneak into the estate and he's running around and all this weird, creepy stuff's happening to him. At first, I thought that whole thing was kind of creepy. I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like, all the movie sets were all still set up and everything. Like, oh, this will be good. This will be weird. And then afterwards, you find out that it was just his fans that were just using the estate and playing with him and just basically screwing around with Scott by putting him in that like box thing and scaring him with like running around. Like, that was it. Like, what I thought it was gonna be is I thought while Scott was at the estate and while all these weird creepy things were happening to him, what I thought would have been cool and what I thought was going to happen was I thought that Cordova was actually going to be filming the whole thing, and I thought it was going to be his next film, because I thought that his films were, I'm not even really sure, were his films real in the end? Were like all the horrors and the weird creepy stuff in it, was he actually filming true stuff? Like, that was something I also was left questioning. Like, it wasn't clear to me whether or not that was real or not. And if it is the case that they were real, I thought, well, like I said, I thought he was going to be filming Scott running around and getting all freaked out and enduring all this weird stuff, and I thought he was going to put that all together and make that his next film. I don't know, I just thought that would be kind of a weird, cool thing to do, and I thought that seems like a Cordova thing to do, but nope, it was just his crazy fans taking over the estate and freaking out Scott. It didn't amount to anything. Like, afterwards, they left the estate, all three of them, they met up again, Hopper, Nora, and Scott, and they didn't really do anything about it, which was weird. So I don't know, it was such a mess of a novel. Like, all of these events that seemed that they would connect in the end, but then they didn't all connect, and it was just like, what was the point of it then? Like, all of this fuss for nothing. And yeah, the part where they go interview Marlo, the actress who's like the druggie, she's up in her hotel room. I don't get what the hell was all the drama with that, because her sister, Olivia, and the doorman who lets them up, they were all kept saying like, oh, watch out, she's pretty crazy, I don't know if you're not going to get a word out of her, and blah blah blah. Like, they built it up to so much, it felt like, oh, it's going to be really difficult to get her to talk then, I guess. They go up there, and she just spills everything to them. Like, there's several pages of her just sitting there talking to them, telling them everything that she knew about Cordova and this and that. And I was like, really? Like, well, that was easy. Where's one of those button things where, you know, you hit it and you say, oh, that was easy? Because it really was. Like, what the hell? Like, it seemed like she built it up so it's like it was going to be this big dramatic thing where Marlo wasn't going to say anything to them and they'd have a hard time getting her to talk and this and that. And then she just sits down. She doesn't really even seem to care that there's these 3 random strangers in her house in the dark going around through her things, and then they start questioning her, and then she's like, okay, fine, give me this drink and I'll tell you everything you want to know, and she just tells them everything. Like, that was so unrealistic. It just seemed too easy for them, too convenient, too easy. And like, I don't know where the hell the author was going with all that supernatural stuff. It didn't amount to anything in the end. Like I said, like all of this investigative stuff with supernatural, creepy black magic stuff going on, all of it didn't amount to anything. All it was that she just had cancer. She just had cancer, and her dad was a perfectly normal guy who just liked to film creepy stuff. Like, really? All of this build up to that ending? Did anybody else think it was going to be like a really big, disturbing reveal at the end about Cordova and his films? Because that's what I thought it was going to be, and all it was a super tame ending. Also, was anybody else like pissed off at Hopper? Because it seemed like he screwed up things so much, and then Scott wouldn't even be mad at him. Like the part where they go to Inez, or I forget her last name, Inez Gallows, or Cordova's assistant, that lady Inez. They go to her townhouse, and he just starts going in, and he breaks into it, he climbs up the wall, and he just goes in, and then he gets caught, and then they have to leave, and then it's like, why couldn't you just wait until we all thought of a plan together, like, you know? And at the estate, again, they went into this huge estate that was Cordova's place. They all had this plan, they're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. As soon as they get in, they go up on the lawn, and what does Hopper do? He just freaking runs across the lawn, goes up right up to the house, sets off like the lights and everything, and the dogs come after them barking, and then they all get separated, and then it all goes to hell after that. And then when they meet up afterwards, Scott isn't even mad at him. Like, I would be pissed if that happened. Like, what the hell, Hopper? Why did you just run across the lawn and like alert them that we were here? And the ending was dragged on too. Like, I thought it had ended, and then there's like all these pages left too, and I'm like, oh my god, like what else is there to do? And then I realized, oh, we're gonna get to meet Cordova, and then it ends. Like, I would have liked to hear what Cordova himself had to say to Scott about his films and stuff. And I would like to see if he's like if he is a really creepy person in real life, or is he just normal, you know, like something. But no, it just ended. So I felt like for a book this long, with this much stuff going on in it, I felt like I felt for sure that, like, okay, there's going to be a big reveal at the end. There's going to be some big thing at the end that's going to be really, it's going to like blow my socks off. It's going to be a crazy ending. And it was so tame, so boring, so underwhelming, so disappointing. It just didn't do it for me at all. And the characters were just kind of meh. The whole thing was kind of meh. It was such a mess of a novel, and the ending was just like, what were you even trying to tell me with all this? What was this even amounting to? What was even going on? It was such a mess of a novel. I don't know what the point of it was. I don't know what it was doing. Okay, so that was my book review / spoiler discussion on Night Film. Hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know below in the comments if you felt the same as I did, or if it's just me, because I'd really like to know. And if you can explain any of it to me, or any of this stuff in the end, and like what even the story was supposed to be about, that would be awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching.